The timelines rarely converged. In 1889, William Mayo brings the East Texas State Normal College, ends up at Commerce, Texas. These are both images from the digital collections. In 1896, Riley establishes Mount Moriah Temple Baptist Church, and this is a group that is tied to the Cypress District Association I was telling you about. And this is the Mount Moriah Temple Baptist Church, and for the vast majority of the 20th century, from the time it was established in 1896, the much of the central details of the community happened here. The activism, the socializing. Like many black communities, the church soon after establishment became the social, cultural, and political hub of the Norris community. The timelines didn't converge except for these folks going to work in the white community. But life continued. Church here is, it becomes an important institution. This is still, this body of water is still in the Norris community. It's no longer used for baptismal. This is about 1906, I believe. It was contaminated by a Superfund site of the factory that was established on the border of the Norris community that was declared a Superfund site in the mid-90s and subject to a number of lawsuits due to the carcinogens embedded in the soil and cycling through the community and causing birth defects and death in many cases. So the water is not for swimming in. But the Cotton Belt Railroad was also a very major industry in the Norris community, as it was anywhere. Remember, the the tracks go directly through the Norris community. So there was some employment there. There were certainly relationships and friendships, and there were the Norris community, like many black communities, had its own businesses since they weren't to frequent the white businesses in the community. There were stores, and of course, like any black community in the U.S., there were bars, and there was graduations, and this is actually the inside of the Mount Moriah Temple Baptist Church. As I said, this right here is Opal Pennell, in the woman from Neelanville that I was mentioning that became a major leader in this Norris Community Club that I spoke about. In 1964, though, this is where things really began to change. In 1964, the two separate timelines began to converge like never before. For this rhetorician, this is really the point at which it becomes most interesting. In 1964, then President Xi brought together every campus employee to announce that beginning with the upcoming term, ETSU would accept, quote, all races as long as they meet the standards. By 1964, only one other public university in Texas had yet to integrate. We were the last holdouts. 10 years after Brown versus the Board of Education decision rendered such segregation unconstitutional. I will continue in the next video, but it is really important that as we discuss this, we recognize that this is not a racist town. It never was a racist town in that any town is ever really racist, except that racist things happen, and we can't really point to the culprit every time. So this is a study not in hate, except that it is.